Hi students, this is Mr. Erickson. I wanted to go through how to do a close reading, especially for those people that might have missed class or need to go back through this process in order to reach mastery level. The first thing that you're going to do is go to the class website, so ericksonenglish.com, and this is what it's going to look like. You'll notice in the left sidebar you'll see the grade levels. Depending on if you're in English 9 or English 10, you're going to click the close reading poetry unit. So for this example, I'll just go to the English 10 poetry unit. What you're going to notice right away is that there's an example annotation on the front page. This is really what we're working towards, and this is the end goal for the unit, that you're able to do something that's similar to this annotation here. If you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see there is a handout called How to Close Read a Poem. And this is really going to detail how to go through the procedure of doing a close reading. We went through this in class, but it's good to reiterate and to practice this more. The first thing that you're going to do is read the poem one time through, and you just take a break. You don't really write anything down, you're just listening to the words and taking note of what stands out. The second thing that you're going to do is reread the poem, and this is where you start to look for those patterns. After you read the poem a second time, you're going to start to look for those poetic devices. And I've listed the poetic devices here. You'll notice that the poetic devices are a little bit different for 9th and 10th grade. So take note and make sure that you're focusing on the poetic devices that are appropriate for your grade level. You're going to start to look for these within the text, and you're going to annotate. You're going to write these down. For example, if you notice that there is a simile in the poem, you should probably circle it or underline it and take note of it in the margins. Write down that there's a simile. You should also consider some of the larger ideas, so things like theme or things like mood or tone. You want to take note of those and annotate those as well. Also note that you can use different colors and should use different colors when you notice specific patterns. So for example, if you notice that the author is using references to food frequently, you might use one color like blue and circle all of the food references. And then you want to go ahead and make a key for that, probably in the upper right corner. So all of the different patterns that you notice, you can use different colors and you can create a key in order to understand all the different things that you noticed. You also want to make sure that you consider connotation and denotation. And remember that denotation is the dictionary definition, whereas the connotation is more of the cultural idea or ideas associated with the word. You also don't want to forget to consider the title of the poem, because it is a part of the poem as well. And then also remember that the author is sort of outside of the poem when we do a close reading that focuses just on the text. Your goal here is to really fill up the entire page with your markings, and you want to make sure that you're thoughtful with your markings and that you're not just writing really big or trying to fill up the page, but that you have interesting, insightful ideas. And really come back to this list of poetic devices to help you as you work on filling up that page with your markings. Remember as well, number 8 here, that you are allowed to write down and ask questions that you have about the poem. What is it that you want to know more about, or perhaps there's something that's confusing to you? I find that when I annotate a poem, oftentimes I'll start with some questions, and by the end of the poem I've answered some of them or have at least potential answers to those questions. So this is just sort of a quick overview of how to do a close reading. Remember that your end goal is to have something that's going to look kind of similar to this annotation right here.